2019, I launched God the Father apparel with $500 in a Shopify store. Christian streetwear, that was the concept. Not church merch, not generic faith t-shirts with Bible verses in Times New Roman. Christian streetwear that actually looked like streetwear. We found a gap in the market. People who wanted to represent their faith but didn't want to look like they just walked out of a church bookstore. And it worked. We scaled that brand from zero to over $3 million annually. No investors, no celebrity cosigns, no traditional retail. Content, community, brand ambassadors, email marketing, and Facebook ads. The playbook that's working right now. But while I was scaling God the Father, I was also building Binge Marketing, a marketing agency. And over the last few years, we've worked with some of the biggest clothing brands in North America. We've taken Hugo House from $0 a month to over $600,000 months in the first 18 months. We helped Dead Threads go from zero to over $1 million in the first 90 days of working together. We've helped brands do $1 million months in their first year working with us. I've seen what makes brands blow up. I've seen the content strategies that work. I've seen the funnels that convert. But over the last 18 months, I've noticed something that's starting to concern me, and it's happening across almost every single brand I work with. Customer acquisition costs are rising every single month. It's taking more money to get the same results we were getting 6 months ago. Average order values are declining, customers are buying less per transaction. And here's the one that really got my attention. Brands that were crushing it with viral content 6 months ago are now struggling to replicate the same success. Same strategy, same content quality, same hooks, but the results are declining. And at first I thought this was just algorithm changes, TikTok shifting, Instagram updating, but then I started digging deeper. And I found something that changed how I see everything happening right now. This exact pattern killed Tommy Hilfiger and Gap in 2000. Let me show you what happened. May 1999, Tommy Hilfiger stock hits $40 per share. They're everywhere. Hip hop culture, preppy kids, department stores, $2 billion in annual revenue. December 2000, stock drops by $11 per share, a 72.5% collapse in 19 months. By 2006, they're forced into privatization at a $1.6 billion valuation after generating $2 billion in revenue just 7 years earlier. What killed them? I found an interview with Tommy Hilfiger's chairman, Fred Gearing, in the 2015 Harvard Business Review retrospective. He said, quote, "The brand was too hot, too hyped, and grew too fast." Here's what actually happened. They became too popular. When the brand went from exclusive to being on every single street corner, on every person, consumers abandoned it. Because wearing Tommy Hilfiger no longer signaled you were a trendsetter. It signaled you were mainstream. Gap? Same exact story. $13.6 billion in revenue in 2000. By 2001, $7.7 million loss. When everyone had it, nobody wanted it. Now here's why this matters to you right now. The same oversaturation pattern is happening across content-driven brands in 2024 and 2025, and the cycle is compressed. Tommy had 19 months from peak to collapse. Brands today will have 90 days. Let me show you the data. March 2024, Shein isn't even on the top 10 brands on TikTok Shop. June 2024, Shein generates $964 million in TikTok Shop sales. Number one position. That's 343% more than the 10th place brand. 3 months and they went from zero to $964 million. That's the exact vertical trajectory Tommy Hilfiger had in the late 90s right before the crash. And here's where it gets concerning. TikTok monthly users dropped 10% year over year every month since September 2023. Platform fatigue is setting in. If you asked me 12 months ago, TikTok is where I got new brands and ideas, I would have said, yeah, that's not happening. You should go ahead and have the Renegade or something. Fashion trends that used to take 20 years to cycle are now cycling in weeks. Mob Wives, Tomato Girls, Brat Aesthetic, each one lasted weeks, not years. And here's what I realized when I saw this data. It's not just fashion. Every entrepreneur is now a thought leader creating content. Charlie Morgan, Alex Hermosi on Logan Paul's podcast, reaching millions. TJR appearing on live streams. Every musician is doing content of just releasing music. Every product brand is trying to go viral on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts. When everyone's doing the same playbook, the playbook stops working. That's oversaturation. And I'm seeing it happen in real time across the brands I work with. Here's what's happening right now with brands doing 50 to 500 grand a month. They're running the same content strategy that worked 6 months ago. Transitional hooks, viral sounds, influencer partnerships. The cost per acquisition is climbing and the return on ad spend is declining. The organic reach is dropping. And they keep asking me, Drew, what are we doing wrong? The answer is nothing. You're executing perfectly. The problem isn't execution. The problem is market saturation. When I scaled God the Father apparel to over $3 million, the Christian streetwear space was wide open. We were one of the only brands doing it at scale. Now, there are hundreds, if not thousands. Same thing is happening across every niche. Golf streetwear, athletic leisure, personal development content, music creators doing streams. The barrier to entry collapsed. In 2000, you needed millions in capital and retail partnerships. In 2025, you need a Shopify store and a TikTok account. That democratization created massive opportunity, but it also created the conditions from oversaturation. And here's what scares me about the timeline. Brands peaking Q1 to Q2 2024 will hit oversaturation crisis Q3 2025 to Q1 2026. That's 90 to 180 days from right now. If you're running a brand right now, here are the early indicators you're approaching oversaturation. Your customer acquisition costs are rising month over month. More brands competing for the same TikTok and Instagram attention. Your average order value is declining. Consumers are splitting purchases across more brands instead of consolidating with favorites. Your return rates are increasing. People buy trend pieces, then regret as oversaturation makes items feel dated immediately. You're building inventory, but it's not moving as fast. You scaled production for a viral moment, but the trend shifted. This is the exact pattern I'm seeing across my agency clients right now. And here's what's different from the 2000s. Tommy Hilfiger had years of overdistribution through physical retail before the collapse. Today, a product goes viral on Monday. By Friday, the market is flooded with dupes and competitors. The correction is going to be more violent because the cycle is compressed. Now let me show you what I'm doing with the brands I work with to position them for what's coming. Brands that survive oversaturation have three things in common. One, they deliberately limit distribution. Tommy Hilfiger's European division that limited distribution maintained profitability while the US division that over-distributed collapsed. Scarcity creates value. Ubiquity destroys it. When I work with brands at Banch, we're not trying to maximize reach. We're optimizing frequency with the right audience. 2, they build brand equity beyond the viral moment. Savage and Fenty generated $58 million in earned media value through inclusive sizing messaging. That's brand equity. Gymshark accumulated $350 million in earned media value through aspirational fitness lifestyle content. That's brand equity. What does your brand stand for when the TikTok algorithm shifts? If you can't answer that one sentence, you're building on sand. 3, they invest in own channels, not rented attention. TikTok users are dropping 10% month over month. Platform fatigue is real. At Banch Marketing, we build brand ambassador funnels, email marketing systems, and SMS strategies specifically so brands aren't dependent on algorithm changes. Email lists, repeat customers, community, brand ambassadors. These are own channels that survive when platforms shift. Here's the oversaturation proof positioning framework I use with every brand I work with. First, evaluate your distribution strategy. Are you maximizing reach or optimizing frequency? If your goal is to be everywhere, you're approaching oversaturation. The brands I work with that are scaling sustainably are deliberately limiting where their products appear. Second, define your brand equity. What do you stand for beyond the product? God the Father apparel isn't just Christian clothing. It's Christian streetwear that doesn't look like church merch. That's brand equity. If you're just another clothing brand or another content creator, you're competing on virality, and when everyone goes viral, nobody stands out. Third, measure your own channel percentage. What percentage of your revenue comes from email, SMS, repeat customers, and brand ambassadors versus TikTok and Instagram ads? If it's under 30%, you're over-indexed on rented attention. The brands I work with at Banch Marketing that are hitting 50 to 100K monthly consistently have 30 to 40% of their revenue coming from owned channels. Fourth, maintain pricing discipline. Gap trained customers to never pay full price through constant discounting that destroyed the margin and their brand perception. If you're discounting to compete, you're in a race to the bottom. When the market corrects, you won't have margin to survive. Look, I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to show you what I'm seeing across the brands I work with and what history tells us happens next. Content first discovery, democratized brand building, that's real. Tiny brands are hitting $500K to $200 million months without traditional marketing. I've seen it happen, I've helped make it happen. But when everyone has access to the same playbook, market saturation becomes inevitable. Tommy Hilfiger went from $40 per share to $11 in 18 months. Shein went from not in the top 10 to $964 million in 3 months. The cycle is compressing, and the brands that survive will be the ones that see this coming and adjust before the correction hits. So you have a choice. Are you going to keep chasing viral growth without thinking about distribution controls? Or are you going to build a brand with actual equity that survives trend cycles? Are you going to keep renting attention from platforms that are already showing fatigue? Or are you going to invest in own channels? Are you going to over-distribute to maximize short-term revenue? Or are you going to deliberately limit distribution to maintain long-term brand value? The market is going to correct. The only question is whether your brand survives it or not. Now, if you made it to the end of this video, you're serious about building your brand the right way. If you want my help implementing this framework, first link in the description breaks down how Banch Marketing works with brands. We specialize in helping clothing brands, e-commerce business owners, and agency owners. We've scaled brands to multiple 7 figures using sustainable strategies. Top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, brand ambassador funnels, email marketing, SMS. We've done it all. We build the owned channel infrastructure that survives algorithm changes and market corrections. But whether you work with us or not, I need you to evaluate your brand right now. Look at your customer acquisition cost trends. Look at your own channel percentage. Define your brand equity. Because if you're seeing rising CAC, declining AOV, and increasing returns, you're approaching the oversaturation tipping point, and you have 90 to 180 days to adjust before the market corrects. Leave a comment down below and let me know, are you seeing these warning signs in your brand right now? Hit subscribe, like, turn on notifications for the next video where I'm breaking down in-depth strategies and funnels we use at Banch to build owned channels. It's your boy Drew. The opportunity is massive, but so is the risk. Don't let oversaturation kill your brand. I'll see you in the next video.